Hi everybody, it's me, Crystalline, your proactive conscious aging life coach. How are you guys doing today? I'm joyful in the Lord and in the power of His might. Welcome back to my channel. Tomorrow is our annual church picnic and I'm making a dish and I thought I would share my recipe with you. Several of us are making dishes actually, and every year I make this dish of baked beans, and I only make it twice a year. I make it on the 4th of July, well maybe 3 times, okay? I make it on the 4th of July, the annual church picnic, and then maybe again on Labor Day. And everybody loves this recipe. It's kind of a sweet, spicy recipe. I think you'll like it too. So let's get started. First of all, let me show you what all you're gonna need. I use 2 different kind of baked beans. I use these bushes, maple and cured bacon, that's this one, and I use the brown sugar hickory baked beans. And I like to use these big 28-ounce cans because they feed a lot. And actually I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cans here, and depending on how many people you're trying to feed is the number of cans you can get. Now listen, I don't do anything precise here. It's all by sight and knowing my recipe, and that's the way I'm going to show you how to do. Because at the picnic we have all kind of other foods. We have potato salad, we have corn salad, we have fruit salad, we have tuna salad, you know, spaghetti, hamburgers and french fries, hamburgers and hot dogs and all kind of other things. So nobody has to, you know, rely on one dish. So out of these 7 cans of beans, that ought to be enough to feed enough people, and whoever don't get any, too bad, okay? Because they should have been there when the beans were there. So let me show you what else I have. I have this all-purpose life oil, and actually my pastor sells this oil, and it's in grocery stores all over the place. I'll leave you a link in the description in case you want to check this out. It's non-GMO, all-purpose, and this one here is a blend of sunflower, safflower, and olive oil. It's called life oil. So we're going to have that. We have the beans, and since this is a sweet and spicy recipe, what I have here is True Goodness organic 100% pure maple syrup. The other sweet part is brown sugar. This is my problem. I like sweets too much. Now, for the spicy part, I'm going to be using a cayenne pepper. You just use a little bit, and let me show you this. I have 2, these are double aluminum. It's usually I could get a bigger one, but I couldn't find the bigger ones today, so I had to get double. And each one of these contain 2 of the containers, okay? So that all the beans will fit in there, okay? Take a little bit of this, and what I do, actually I'm going to show you a little bit later how I measure my ingredients to go in. I'm also going to use this Himalayan pink salt, and this is by a company, and it's called the James Creek Cutlery, and they have a Bible verse on here, and it says 1 Thessalonians 5:18, in everything give thanks. And when I saw this at the farmer's market, I said, you know, I have to buy this from these people. Amen. And I'll show you, it's a very, very coarse grind, and I like that. So I'm using Himalayan pink salt. Also, I'm also going to use this Lori's lemon pepper. My husband says I put lemon pepper in everything. I probably do, but I like lemon pepper. And now also I'm going to use nutmeg, ground nutmeg, and I'm going to use Ceylon cinnamon powder. And cinnamon powder is good because it helps to balance blood sugar. And you know, with all of this, we need to balance some blood sugar. Amen? So we're going to use that. I'm also going to use bacon. Now you guys know I'm a whole food plant-based eater, but when I'm making a dish like this, I do go with the original recipe, which calls for bacon. And this one is naturally hardwood smoked bacon. I'm going to use that. And I have a sweet onion. I have an orange and a lemon. And so those are the items that you're going to need. I will have that in the description box so you can see. So the first thing that I'm going to do to get started with making these baked beans is I'm going to cut this onion. And this is a sweet onion. It's yellow. The skin on the outside is yellow. I took it off already so I could get through this part a little bit faster. So what I'm doing, it is Saturday night and I'm starting the prep tonight because tomorrow morning we want to leave by 11 and I don't want us to be late or rushing around or anything. So I'm doing this part that takes a little bit longer tonight. And that is I'm going to cook this bacon and I'm going to cook the onion. So there's my onion. I cut it lengthwise because what I want is like circles of onion, like that. You see that? So they're going to come out like that. And I cut them as thin as I can. And actually this is a very small onion and I'm going to use this whole onion. This is the Cutco knife. And I've been showing you these excellent Cutco knives. One of these days Cutco is going to sponsor one of my videos. That's what I count on. Because I'm always telling people about these excellent knives. They're very expensive, but they last a lifetime. You can take them back to the store and you can get them sharpened and everything. Look at that. Now that's a knife for you, isn't it? So I just cut this onion up into the strips like that. I'll show you. And this is a really nice onion. Really nice. And I just kind of separate them out like that. And now these onions are ready to be cooked in the frying pan. And so now I'm going to cook the bacon and the onion and I will be right back. I'm ready to cook my bacon and my onions. So I've already turned these pans on. These are non-stick pans, but I am going to use a little bit of this life oil over here, just a touch like that, because I really don't like to fry things in oil, but I'm just going to use a little bit that way for that. And I'm going to put the onions in the pan like that. And so they're getting started cooking. While they're getting started, I'm going to let the other pan heat up a little bit, and then I'm going to transfer it back to the other side. Now, onions don't take that long to cook, as you probably know already. So you have to watch them, because I don't want my onions to burn. You know, everybody looks forward to my baked beans every year, and I just don't want things to not taste good. So I want to make sure I don't burn anything. And that means I have to stand right here. So I think I want to put a little bit more in here. And so I'm preparing the bacon and the onion for tomorrow, but actually I am going to cook a little bit tonight, because I'm going to make some for my husband so he can enjoy his own, because tomorrow these baked beans will be gone in a flash. They're really, really good. I'm just going to turn that down a little bit. You can just swirl them around like that. And now I'm going to cook this bacon. I have it on medium right now. And since I'm using all those cans, I'm going to use quite a bit of bacon. Because now remember, I'm making 2 containers full of the baked beans. And I want to have several strips of bacon in each container. What do you call those things? They're aluminum foil pans. Now, if I was making these just for us at home, I would use my glass pans. I mean my glass containers. I don't know why I can't think of the word that those things are. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? And we'll just let this get cooked like that. So the bacon and onions are just about done. I'm going to strain the bacon on here. And these are actually going to get cooked just a little bit more while they're baking inside the beans. So I strain them like that. And remember, this is Saturday night. I'm doing this ahead of time. So the onions should be like this, translucent, not overcooked, but just cooked enough. And I strain everything like that. So I'm ready. I've done this first part, and I'll be back tomorrow morning. Hi you guys, I'm back. It's Sunday morning now, and I'm preparing the beans. I put a little bit of this live oil in the pan just so the beans won't stick. You might want to use a spray on like Pam or whatever you use. Be sure to put some on here so that your beans won't stick. And I'm using a combination of beans. I have the maple and cured bacon, and then I have the they look like these, maple and cured bacon. And then I also use the brown sugar hickory. Now, you know, I like the brown sugar and hickory better because they're sweeter and they have like a red color. These maple and cured bacon ones, they have like a more brown color, like that. That's just some fat on the top. Anyway, they're more brown. And what I do before I put them in here is I strain my beans because I don't want too much liquid. If you put too much liquid in the beans, they're going to take forever to cook, and they just, you know, take forever. And I'm going to cook these beans at 350 degrees for about an hour and a half, and that's all they should take. And I'm making 2 containers full. So I'm just going to strain this out a little bit because I don't want too much liquid. Like that. And just go ahead and put them in here. And you can even see they're more brown. The other ones are just a little bit more red. That's how you can tell the difference. But I'm going to put everything in the description box so you can see. And you know, it depends on what your taste is too. You know, you might like them less sweet. But the recipe is sweet and spicy. So that's why I like to use them, the sweeter beans. Okay, so I got all my cans used up. You want to make sure you stir everything well. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add the bacon and the onions. So I like to just tear mine up in half like that. And I use my hands a lot, guys. I did wash them before I started. Okay, I'm just going to put these onions in here. And wow, they look so good. I cook these onions perfectly. You want to make sure that your onions are just like translucent, like that. You don't want them to be too brown or get black edges or anything. So just make sure you stand there and saute your onions and don't leave them to cook by themselves. Now you see, this is the perfect consistency right now. And if they were to look a little dry while they were cooking, what I would do is I would just add a little water. But I'd rather them start out like this than to be too soupy and have to try to cook them forever. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some of this True Goodness organic pure maple syrup. Now this is what we have, but you can use just pretty much what you want to. Okay, I've even seen people use just regular table syrup that they use on pancakes. This is what we have though. So I put that in, and I'm going to use light brown sugar. Make sure you use light brown because the dark brown is not as sweet, and you'll end up having to use so much, which you don't want to add so much. But that's about how much I'm going to put in here. And I was watching some videos last night, and I saw a guy make some apple pie baked beans, and they looked awesome, but he got so disparaged in his comments. Everybody said it looked like a heart attack and, you know, diabetes, this, that, and the other. And, you know, like I explained to you guys, we're not eating baked beans every day. We eat these like maybe 3 times a year, and the serving size that you have is not going to be that much. It's not like somebody's going to sit here and just eat this whole pan. So, you know, I don't want to hear any comments like that, guys. I know what I'm doing. Amen. Okay, so I add those. And so now that's the sweet part. Let's get on to the spicy part. Let's start out with this pink Himalayan salt, which I love. It's coarse ground. I'm not going to put that much because the beans already have sodium in there. I use this one. Now I'm going to show you. I forgot about this one last night. This is the 21 Seasoning Salute by Trader Joe. And this is good on anything and everything. I love it. It's got all kind of spices in it. Black pepper, celery seed, cayenne pepper, parsley, basil, marjoram, bay leaf, oregano, thyme, etc., etc. It's 21 seasonings in here. And I have my lemon pepper, which that's my favorite. And I'm just going to put it on lavishly because that's the way I like it. But you know, everybody else likes it. Every time we have a picnic, they say, "You're going to bring your baked beans?" And I say, "Yep, I'm bringing them." So that's what I'm doing. Now I'm going to add a little bit of this nutmeg. If you have like a pumpkin pie spice, you could probably use that too. That tastes good. And again, make sure that you stir, 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 because you want the flavor to be throughout the beans. Like that. I'm going to add this Ceylon cinnamon powder. Cinnamon is excellent for regulating blood sugar, and that's what I usually use it for in general. But in these beans, I don't know how much sugar you're going to regulate. I put them in here for the taste. I mean, I put it in there for the taste. Excuse me. Sunday morning, guys, early. I'm not even used to talking yet. So let's see. Do I have everything in here? No, I do not. So, last but not least, I'm going to add the orange slices. And I cut them into strips like this. But I'm just going to tear them a little bit. And the orange adds sweetness to the mix. And I like to put a couple of big slices in there too. There we go. That one got a rind. I gotta take that out. Now I was gonna add some lemon, but I decided not to because the lemon is gonna take away from the sweetness. And I prefer the beans to be sweet and spicy. And I don't want to have to keep adding sugar to compensate for the sour lemon taste. So I'm not going to put the lemons. And So now I'm just going to taste it and see how it tastes. Awesome. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Now, you know, like I said, I don't really measure the stuff. I'm gonna put a little bit of teeny more brown sugar in here. And I'm gonna mark this one because this is probably the one I'm gonna eat out of. Because I like it really, really sweet. But that's wonderful. This is wonderful. Tastes so good. I don't really measure how much the items that I'm putting in, any ingredients I mean that I'm putting in here, but I just do it by taste. If you like it less sweet, put less sugar and maple syrup. And if you like it more sweet, then put more. That's all. You're going to taste it anyway before you put it in the oven. Okay, so now this is ready to go into the oven. It looks like this. So I'm going to put it in the oven for about an hour and a half, and I'll come back and show you when they are done, okay? All right, the beans are out of the oven, and I cooked them for about an hour and a half, and this is what they look like. Doesn't that look good? Wow, I can't wait to taste them. Now this one I made a little bit sweeter, and so I marked the edges right there with that little black marker so I know which one is which. And I can't wait to taste these. I think they're going to be awesome. One thing I forgot to add though is in this one, I forgot to add the cayenne pepper. Remember I said I was just going to use like a little smidge of cayenne pepper? So that's what I did. I just, you know, you just put a little bit in between your fingers like that and just sprinkle it on. And it makes for a lot more spice. And you can do it to whatever your taste is. So that's what these guys look like. The other thing is I want you to cook these beans slowly at a temperature of 350 degrees for an hour and a half. So I might take a little footage of everybody eating my beans at the picnic, but other than that, I think we're all set, you guys. I appreciate you watching my video. Let me know what you think about this recipe and if you'll try it in the comments. Thanks for watching. God bless you, and I'll see you next time.